In the quiet corridors of human history, there exists a secret so old and yet so powerful that its very mention has often been buried beneath centuries of distraction, denial, and disbelief. It is not a secret locked away in ancient temples or hidden beneath stone tablets. It is a truth that lives within every single human being, a force that has shaped civilizations, lifted souls into greatness, and yet destroyed others who never learned to master it. This force has been called many names throughout the ages: divine will, the universal law, the mirror of creation. But today, we know it as the law of attraction. In its essence, this law is disarmingly simple. Whatever we focus upon, we bring into being. But like all simple truths, it has been endlessly misunderstood for centuries. Humanity has sought power outside of itself, in governments, in gods, in technology, never realizing that the greatest force in the universe is not out there, but in here, within the human mind and heart. The ancients knew this, and they guarded the knowledge fiercely, encoding it in symbols, myths, and sacred geometry. They understood that thought is not passive. It is a vibration, a living signal broadcast into the fabric of reality itself. Every emotion, every belief, every expectation we hold sends a ripple through the unseen layers of existence, and the universe, like a cosmic mirror, returns that signal magnified. And yet, for all its beauty, this knowledge carries a warning. Because the universe does not judge. It does not filter. It does not select only the pleasant or the pure. It amplifies what is given. A thought of love returns love. A thought of fear returns fear. This is the ancient paradox. The law of attraction is both the key to creation and the engine of destruction. The very power that can lift a person into abundance can also trap them in endless cycles of suffering if they remain unconscious of their own vibration. This is the forgotten truth, the one humanity has toyed with but rarely understood, that we are the architects of our own reality, and that ignorance of this law does not protect us from it. In the early 20th century, the law of attraction began to resurface under new names: positive thinking, manifestation, the secret. Books, seminars, and gurus sought to reintroduce the world to this cosmic mechanism, and yet, something critical was lost in translation. The message was simplified into slogans, the depth diluted into a kind of spiritual consumerism. People were told they could think their way to wealth, health, and love. But few understood that the law of attraction is not a trick to get what you want. It is the most intimate reflection of what you are. It is not about forcing reality to obey your commands, but about becoming so aligned with the energy of what you desire that reality has no choice but to reflect it back to you. To truly grasp the power of this law is to recognize that every thought is a seed planted in the field of consciousness. The soil is neutral. It does not care what grows. Plant fear, reap fear. Plant love, reap love. Most people plant unconsciously. They allow their thoughts to be dictated by circumstance, by fear, by the collective noise of society. They wake up reacting instead of creating, consuming instead of envisioning. And in doing so, they unknowingly attract more of what they resist. The universe, responding faithfully to the vibration of their focus, continues to mirror their inner chaos back at them. This is not punishment. It is precision. The law of attraction, when understood through this lens, becomes less of a mystical concept and more of an instruction manual for reality itself. It teaches that we do not experience the world as it is, but as we are. The events, people, and opportunities that appear in our lives are not random accidents, but orchestrated reflections of our internal state. The universe listens not to our words, but to our emotions. It decodes vibration, not vocabulary. You can repeat affirmations endlessly, but if beneath the surface you vibrate with fear, doubt, or lack, the universe will always respond to that hidden frequency. This is where the misunderstanding has led so many astray. The modern spiritual movement often treats the law of attraction as a wish-making system, a cosmic vending machine. But the truth, the real ancient truth, is far deeper and far more challenging. The law is not about convincing the universe of what you want. It is about becoming a vibrational match to what you seek. It requires alignment, emotional mastery, and radical self-awareness. It asks you to look directly into the mirror of your life and see every reflection, every joy and every pain, as a message about what you are broadcasting to creation. This is the point where most turn away. Because to truly practice the law of attraction is not to escape your reality, but to confront it. It demands that you face every fragment of your own vibration, the fears you hide, the guilt you bury, the stories you keep repeating. It demands that you take full responsibility for every experience in your life, not as blame, but as empowerment. For as long as you see yourself as a victim of circumstance, you remain outside the creative process. The universe cannot co-create with fear. It responds to sovereignty, and yet, there is a mystery even deeper still. Those who have studied this law for years begin to notice a pattern. The more you align with love, the more rapidly your reality reshapes around you. Time itself seems to bend, synchronicities multiply, manifestations accelerate. But for those trapped in cycles of resistance, the opposite occurs. Reality seems to close in, opportunities fade. The world feels hostile and unresponsive. The difference is not luck or fate, it is frequency. We live in a vibrational universe, and our emotions are the tuning fork. In recent years, the planet has entered what many spiritual teachers describe as a vibrational shift, a collective amplification of human consciousness. The law of attraction has not changed, but its effects have intensified. Thoughts manifest faster, emotions ripple further. The world we see today, the chaos, the division, the awakening, are all reflections of this heightened energetic environment. The universe is no longer allowing us to think unconsciously without consequence. It is forcing humanity to face its collective vibration, and in that confrontation lies both the danger and the opportunity. Because if the law of attraction is indeed the mechanism by which reality itself is constructed, then what we are witnessing on Earth is not collapse, but correction. The outer world is mirroring the inner world of humanity, our fear, our division, our desire for control. But the same law that mirrors chaos also mirrors awakening. Those who learn to align with peace amidst the noise, who choose love when fear is the easier path, are not only transforming their own lives, they are participating in the creation of a new collective timeline. This is the true power of the law of attraction, not individual manifestation, but collective creation. And yet even this awareness comes with a warning, one that has echoed through the ages in every mystery school and esoteric tradition. When humanity begins to awaken to its creative power, it enters a period of trial. The universe, in its perfect neutrality, amplifies everything. Those who are not prepared, who still cling to the illusion of separation, will find their fears manifesting with equal force. The energy that once responded slowly now responds instantly. This is the age of acceleration, and with it comes the ultimate test. Can humanity remember that it is the creator, not the victim, of its own experience? This is where part 1 ends, with a revelation and a challenge. The law of attraction is not a belief system. It is a universal law, operating whether or not you acknowledge it. Every thought, every emotion, every expectation you hold is shaping the field around you right now. You are broadcasting a frequency, and the universe is listening with absolute precision. The question that remains, and the question that will define the future of our species, is simple. What are we choosing to attract? To understand what the law of attraction truly is, we must first recognize what it is not. Over the years, a multitude of interpretations have emerged, each claiming to hold the secret key to manifesting one's desires. From the glossy covers of self-help books to the endless stream of motivational seminars and viral videos, the message has been distorted, simplified, and repackaged into something the masses could consume without much reflection. These distortions, these decoys, are not without purpose. They serve as stepping stones for those newly awakening to the creative nature of consciousness. But for those who stop at the surface, they become traps. The first and most widespread decoy is the belief that the law of attraction is merely a tool for material gain. It is the promise that with the right visualization, affirmation, or emotional trick, one can summon wealth, luxury, and success. This idea is seductive because it appeals to the very egoic structures the true law is meant to transcend. People begin to treat the universe like a vending machine. Insert thought, receive result. But the universe is not a supplier of desires. It is a mirror of frequency. When you desire something purely for the sake of possession, the vibration you emit is not abundance, but lack. The very act of wanting reinforces the awareness that you do not yet have. And so the universe, faithful to its design, mirrors that absence back to you. This misunderstanding has led countless seekers into cycles of frustration and self-doubt. They visualize, they affirm, they imagine the life they want, and yet it does not arrive. They conclude the law does not work, when in truth it is working with absolute precision. The universe cannot contradict the vibration you are emitting. You may repeat "I am rich" 1,000 times, but if the energy beneath those words is desperation or disbelief, the signal received by creation is lack. The first decoy, then, is the idea that you can manipulate the universe without transforming yourself. The second decoy is the belief that the law of attraction is solely mental, that it operates through thought alone. This notion is attractive because it flatters the intellect. It suggests that by mastering thought patterns, one can engineer reality. But thought without emotion is static. It has no current, no magnetism. It is the feeling behind the thought that activates the law. Emotion is the electrical charge that powers the signal sent into the field. The ancient mystics knew this. They understood that the heart is not a metaphorical center of emotion, but a literal transmitter of energy. The electromagnetic field of the heart is thousands of times more powerful than that of the brain. When thought and emotion align, creation occurs. When they conflict, the signal collapses. Thus, a person may think of success but feel unworthy. And the universe will respond not to the thought of success, but to the vibration of unworthiness. The third decoy lies in the concept of instant manifestation, the promise that one can bypass time, effort, and growth to receive immediate results. The truth is that manifestation is not a trick performed on reality. It is a reflection of evolution within consciousness. The universe does not delay because it is cruel or indifferent. It delays because you are still aligning. The time between intention and manifestation is not punishment. It is grace. It allows you to refine your vibration, to align your beliefs, to expand your awareness, until you become a stable match for what you seek. If everything you desired appeared instantly, the chaos of unfiltered emotion and unfocused thought would destroy you. The universe's timing is not random. It is protection. Another decoy, more subtle than the rest, is the belief that the law of attraction can be used to control others. There are those who learn about the power of focus and begin to use it to influence people, situations, and outcomes according to their will. They attempt to bend reality to satisfy personal desire. But this approach overlooks one of the most vital truths of creation. Every soul is sovereign. The universe does not reward control. It responds to harmony. The more one seeks to manipulate others, the more they entangle themselves in resistance. Energy sent with attachment binds the sender. True mastery of the law comes not from bending reality, but from becoming so aligned with one's higher nature that reality bends naturally in response. Control is the language of fear. Alignment is the language of creation. Then there is the decoy of spiritual bypassing, the idea that one must maintain perpetual positivity to manifest desired outcomes. This has perhaps caused more confusion and guilt than any other distortion. People begin to fear their own negative thoughts, believing that one moment of sadness or anger will summon disaster. They repress emotions, hide from their shadow, and call it high vibration. But the universe does not punish emotional honesty. It responds to authenticity. Repression creates resistance, and resistance lowers frequency far more than temporary sadness ever could. The law of attraction does not demand perfection. It demands alignment. To align means to accept what is, to love oneself in every state, and to allow emotion to flow without attachment. Only by embracing all that you are, the light and the shadow, can your energy return to coherence. The final and perhaps most dangerous decoy is the belief that the law of attraction is new. In truth, it is as old as creation itself. Every teacher who has ever spoken of faith, intention, or divine order has been describing this same universal mechanism in different language. The Buddha spoke of it as the law of mind. Jesus called it the faith that moves mountains. The Hermetic philosophers named it correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. The terminology changes, but the principle remains the same. The universe is mental, energetic, responsive. The idea that this law was only discovered in modern times blinds people to the ancient depth of its wisdom. It is not a trend. It is the operating system of reality itself. When we strip away these decoys, the pursuit of material gain, the obsession with instant results, the fear of negative thought, the illusion of control, we are left with the essence of the law of attraction, resonance. The universe does not give you what you want, it gives you what you are. This realization changes everything. It transforms the practice of manifestation from a game of mental tricks into a sacred act of self-creation. Every desire becomes a signal calling you to become the version of yourself who already lives that reality. The goal is no longer to get what you want, but to evolve into the frequency where that desire is natural. This is why so few truly master the law. It asks for more than belief. It asks for transformation. It requires you to release not only your limiting thoughts, but your identity built upon them. It is not a method of acquiring. It is a process of becoming. And in this becoming, the old self must die. The ego resists this death, and so it clings to the decoys. It would rather chase visions of wealth and love than confront the silence within. But that silence, that stillness, is the true seat of creation. It is from there that the universe listens, and it is there that manifestation begins. The decoys are not evil. They are necessary. They lure the mind toward a truth it does not yet understand. They give form to the formless so that beginners may have something to grasp. But sooner or later, every seeker must see beyond them. The moment you stop asking, how can I get what I want, and start asking, what must I become to align with it? That is the moment the law of attraction shifts from theory to reality. And yet, once you see beyond the illusions, another question arises, one that carries both mystery and weight. If this law is indeed the mechanism behind all creation, if our thoughts and emotions truly shape the world we inhabit, then why do so many attract suffering, fear, and limitation despite their desire for joy and freedom? What unseen forces within us are distorting the signal we send into the field? To answer that, we must look beyond the decoys and into the deeper workings of consciousness itself, the hidden mechanisms that govern vibration, emotion, and belief. That is where we will turn next, to the clues. The subtle patterns and fragments of wisdom that reveal the law of attraction is not merely a personal tool, but the very architecture of the universe. The deeper one studies the law of attraction, the more it begins to reveal itself not as a concept, but as a living intelligence. It is not a force that can be switched on or off, but an eternal mechanism woven into the structure of existence. The ancient teachers called it the mirror, the field, the great mind. Modern science calls it energy, frequency, and quantum potential. But beneath all labels lies the same principle. Reality is consciousness observing itself, and what we experience as the world is the reflection of that observation. The clues to this truth are scattered everywhere, hidden not because they are secret, but because they are subtle, requiring perception beyond intellect to see. The first clue lies in emotion itself. Why do we feel? What purpose do emotions serve beyond survival? From a purely physical perspective, emotions are chemical responses to stimuli. But energetically, they are far more. Emotion is the language of creation. It is how consciousness communicates with the universe. Every feeling carries a distinct frequency, and every frequency interacts with the field of reality in a precise way. Joy, gratitude, and love are expansive frequencies. They open the field, allowing energy to flow freely. Fear, guilt, and shame are constrictive. They contract the field, creating resistance. The universe responds not to words, but to this emotional frequency. It reads your vibration like a broadcast signal and organizes reality around it. Every relationship, every opportunity, every challenge you encounter is an energetic echo of your dominant emotional state. The first clue, then, is that emotion is not a byproduct of life. It is the architect of it. The second clue hides in the patterns of coincidence and synchronicity that so many dismiss as random. How often have you thought of a person moments before they called? How often has a door opened just when you needed it most, or a phrase in a book mirrored the question you asked in silence the night before? These are not accidents. They are the subtle mechanics of the law of attraction in motion. The universe aligning external events with your internal vibration. Carl Jung called this phenomenon synchronicity, the meaningful intersection of inner and outer worlds. It is the proof that reality is participatory, not passive. The more aligned your vibration becomes, the more these synchronicities increase, as though the universe itself begins to speak directly to you. It is not whispering random messages, but responding precisely to the tone of your frequency. This is how the field confirms alignment, through the orchestration of events that mirror your inner state. The third clue emerges when we observe the phenomenon of momentum. Thoughts repeated often enough take on a life of their own. They gather energy, forming what mystics call thought forms or energetic constructs. Every belief, every assumption you hold, becomes an invisible structure in your field. Over time, these structures harden into patterns that shape experience automatically. This is why habits of thought are so powerful. It is not the single moment of doubt or fear that creates your reality, but the consistent vibration carried by repeated thought. The law of attraction does not respond to occasional flashes of positivity. It responds to the energy you hold most consistently. This is why changing your reality feels slow, not because the universe is unresponsive, but because it must first unwind the momentum of old energy before the new can take hold. Another clue appears in the way energy responds to attention. Wherever attention goes, energy flows. This is not a poetic metaphor, but an observable law. The more attention you give something, whether desired or feared, the more energy you feed into it. Worry is manifestation in reverse. It is the deliberate creation of what you do not want. The universe does not discern between yes and no. It only recognizes focus. To say I don't want to be alone is to vibrate with the energy of loneliness. To say I want freedom from debt is to vibrate with the energy of debt. Attention is magnetic. It charges the object of focus with power. Thus, the key is not to fight against what you don't want, but to withdraw attention from it entirely and redirect your energy toward what you do wish to experience. The universe cannot remove something from your life while you are still feeding it with your awareness. The fifth clue lies in the connection between the individual and the collective field. Most people assume that the law of attraction operates only at a personal level, that each person's vibration affects only their own life. But energy does not stop at the boundary of the body. Every human being contributes to the frequency of the collective. The thoughts and emotions of billions combine to form the energetic climate of the planet, just as countless drops form the ocean. This explains why certain periods in history are marked by global unrest or awakening. The collective vibration reaches a tipping point, and physical reality responds. The storms, the revolutions, the innovations, the great awakenings, all are reflections of energy reaching critical mass. This is why your personal vibration matters more than you think. When you heal, you shift not only your reality, but the collective field itself. You become a node of coherence in a network of consciousness, subtly influencing everything around you. Then there is the most mysterious clue of all, the connection between memory and creation. The past as we experience it is not fixed. It is vibrationally stored. Every emotion, every trauma, every joy you have ever experienced remains encoded in your field, subtly shaping your present vibration. The law of attraction does not respond only to what you think now, but to the entire frequency pattern of your being. This is why deep healing work is essential. Unhealed memories emit discordant frequencies that continue to attract similar experiences until they are acknowledged and released. The same energy that once attracted pain can, once transmuted, attract wisdom and compassion. Memory is not a prison. It is a portal. The moment you reinterpret your past from a higher vibration, you change the energetic signature of your field, and in doing so, you alter the timeline of your future. When we assemble these clues, the creative power of emotion, the synchronicity of alignment, the momentum of belief, the magnetism of attention, the influence of the collective and the frequency of memory, a pattern emerges. The law of attraction is not a trick of psychology or wishful thinking. It is the foundational law of a vibrational universe. We are not physical beings having spiritual experiences. We are vibrational beings temporarily experiencing physicality. Our bodies, our thoughts, our emotions, all are frequencies interacting within an infinite field of energy. Matter itself is not solid. It is condensed vibration. And what we call reality is a projection of the frequencies we sustain. Once this is understood, a profound responsibility arises. We can no longer claim ignorance. Every emotion becomes an act of creation. Every thought becomes an artist's brush upon the canvas of reality. The law of attraction is not something that can be escaped or paused. It is the ongoing conversation between your inner state and the universe. When you realize this, you begin to see the divine precision of your life. The challenges that once felt cruel reveal themselves as mirrors of unhealed vibration. The blessings that seemed random appear as confirmations of alignment. Nothing is accidental. Everything is feedback. But there is another layer, one that few are willing to see. A layer that transforms this understanding from philosophy into initiation. For if the law of attraction truly governs all creation, then every moment of suffering, every experience of limitation, is not punishment, but training. The universe does not test you out of cruelty. It tests you to reveal what frequency you have truly mastered. The obstacles that appear on your path are not blocks, but calibrations. They are mirrors designed to show you the vibration you still hold unconsciously. When you meet them with awareness and transmute their energy into love, you rise to a higher octave of creation. This is the hidden curriculum of life, the cosmic classroom where the law of attraction serves as both teacher and lesson. And yet, even among those who understand these clues, few grasp their full implication. For there is a stage beyond alignment, beyond intention, where the law ceases to be something you use and becomes something you are. This is the stage of mastery, when you no longer seek to attract, because you have become one with the frequency of all that you desire. You no longer create consciously. You simply exist in harmony, and reality flows effortlessly to match your being. This is the level the ancient mystics referred to as unity consciousness, the state in which the self and the universe are no longer two. But before such mastery can be reached, there remains a threshold, a final test that every soul must face. It is not an external challenge, but an internal one, a moment when the universe amplifies everything within you, forcing you to confront the deepest vibrations of your own being. For the law of attraction, in its highest expression, is not merely a tool for creating comfort, but the mechanism through which the soul remembers itself, and that remembering comes only after the forgetting. That is where we will go next, into the one event, the great test of consciousness that determines not what you can attract, but what you can hold, and who you become when the universe mirrors back the totality of your vibration.